Hello, good evening, and welcome to Spring Eve on AceSpring Radio. Remember, this is the channel where we'll give you quality content of radio programming. Tonight, we have chosen the caption Spring Eve to spice our evening's mood. When we talk about Spring Eve, what do we mean? To spring to your growth, to spring to your evolution, to spring to your potential, to spring to your rooftop, to spring to your moment of golden spur. And we will make our tonight's reference, with our posthumous partner, Miles Monroe, who always talks about purpose. You know, a lot of people do not really understand life's subtleties or essences. Life is so silent or subtle, like a seed. You before you plant a tree, or before you see a tree, first of all, it is hidden in the ground in form of a seed. And because you do not see, when you plant a tree or seed, because you're not seeing the tree, doesn't mean that the process is not ongoing. And a lot of people do not know that this aspect of life, this phenomenon of life, applies to every other aspect of life, especially in human life or humanity. You see, I see in our country, especially in our country, Nigeria, a lot of people are looking for things outside themselves. A lot of people are expecting the government to give them what they have, but it's not going to be so. I mean, you will always be disappointed when you're looking for something outside yourself. Let me give you an instance. I see a lot of people moving with the crowd, moving with the trend. You know, you find people in the places they are not supposed to be at certain moments. You don't have to. I use myself for instance. Some time ago, when I lived in Port Harcourt, at the hype or surge of cultism and gangsterism. I mean, I was lured. I was almost lured to join a street gang. But I looked at myself, and I told myself that I don't need these people. I don't need these crowd. I mean, I formed a picture and a vision for my life, and I discovered that I didn't really need these set of people, because if I get myself hooked up with those kind of people, I will not see my future. And that's how it is. In some of the cases, you see people follow me mixing up with friends they are not supposed to mix up with people they're not supposed to meet, with people they're not supposed to be with, in places they are not supposed to be, and which affects the development. And so tonight we're using this Spring Eve's program to task you to look inwards. You don't have to be depressed about the economic situation. I see a lot of people running out of Nigeria, Canada. A lot of people, I don't. I have this idea or ideology of life that the moment there's a crowd approach towards something, then the essence of that thing will not really be gotten. Do you understand? In Nigeria, there's a lot of money here to be made. A lot of wealth is here. Anywhere you have problems, then it requires a solution, and it needs the solution of Nigeria needs Nigerians to make Nigeria work. Okay. There was a time, when you read English literature or American literature, you discover that there was a time when they had certain problems. They had the same problems we're having. There were times when they were involved in economic problems. There were times when they had black subjugation. There was a time when they had slavery. They had economic problems, and they conquered it within themselves. Martin Luther King Jr. stood up and fought against injustice and inhumanity against the black Americans. And today, the environment is free. Okay? So, we in any environment we find ourselves, in any situation we find ourselves, in any problem we see, we have the capacity, to solve those problems. Okay? And so, let me bring this back to ourselves. Whatever it takes for you to get to the top is already trapped inside you. You do not need anybody or any government or any individual or any organization to determine your status or your future state. It needs you to define yourself. Forget about the fact that you do not have money in your pocket. Define yourself. Who are you? What's your vision? What's your goal? What's your dream? Then hang around with people that buy that dream, that contain that dream, that spur you to think, to grow, to create, to evolve yourself. Okay? And so, whatever it takes for you to get to the top resides inside you. It resides inside you. You don't need any outside features. Just like the seed or the tree you see. It started like a seed in the ground before it sprouted to become a tree that you're seeing. So whatever it takes for you to get to the top, whatever it is needed for you to get to the top is already trapped inside you. So that's why we brought this program to you for you to look inwards. In fact, I sometimes I like the fact that we are in the moment we are in Nigeria. It tells us that we need to think of solutions. When you go to Transcorp Hilton, Sheraton, you see a lot of white people. What are they doing here? Because they see a lot of things we do not see in ourselves here. Go there, you see a lot of white people hanging around, moving around. And we are here, we're running to the direction. We're running to comfort zones because that place is already developed. Europe, America is already developed, and some of them are actually coming here because they see problems. This is a natural and raw place for them to explore. All right, that's all for this evening on AceSpring Radio. Remember, follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook on AceSpring Radio and on YouTube on AceSpring Radio. Good evening. See you some other time. Thank you. Have a good evening.